Different cultures, you know what I mean?
Would you say it's easier to date within being black, dating within the black culture, than it is to date outside?
If it's my culture, absolutely. Yeah.
So I want to kind of switch gears, and again, this is I don't know, directed to a male perspective.
Okay.
Do you feel like black men get a bad rep or reputation when it comes to like marriage and commitment? Like you being a black male, right? I think that there's a lot of perceived notions about
expectations,
black men, and where it comes within marriage, within commitment, within even fidelity.
So negative expectations,
yeah.
I'd say.
How do you feel?
Yeah, that hurts. It does. It does hurt.
Do you think there are those expectations?
Yeah, like
that you're 99% likely to cheat.
That's what they say.
Black man.
Is that scientific?
In my head.
That's what they say.
I made it up.
And like that's what I say. It's like
it's almost expected. Like you're gonna fail.
I'm
like your marriage, you're gonna cheat. You're gonna be wilding out. You're gonna have some side honeys.
Right. Yeah.
Did you notice they're glorifying side chicks now? It's like a thing.
Yeah.
They're about to get a show called Real Side Chicks.
No way, really?
Are you kidding?
Wow, man, that's interesting.
Watch our first episode. We talk anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's hear what KB has to say.
Yeah, I just think that it sucks because again, like, who is saying this? You know what I mean? Like who's writing these books in order for you to say something like that? Like it's definitely not us. You know what I mean? But like, I've dated plenty of black women, right? And got my heart broken many times, right? But that doesn't mean that I met every single black woman on this planet. You know what I mean? So I can't just
generalize.
No, but that's the thing. Like we oh man, like
speak.
Like it's I don't know if we're going too hard in here with these topics.
Go ahead.
The answers.
Go ahead.
You're doing fine.
You're doing great.
Sure?
Yeah, you're doing great.
But it's like we're told like, hey, you date a black man, he's gonna cheat on you. You date this kind of guy, he need to take care of you the rest of his life, and so on and so forth. And now I've been on both sides of the world, man. You know what I mean? Let's make that clear. And I've seen from many people, like I have great friends who are in Wall Street right now, right? And they cheat on their wife like it ain't nobody else's business. You know what I mean? And so it's like don't pinpoint as if it's a black man thing. 'Cause I know my brother's cheating. They need to get it together, right? Because all of a sudden, like they don't end up like we don't even get married in our culture, right? For one, right? And we need to counter this. We need to change this because we don't end up getting married till we're 50 years old. You know what I mean? And it's sad.
Exactly. Sad. Like I want to marry a black man, but I don't. At least what I'm shown or what I've experienced, like what they. If I don't want to go into a failed marriage, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
They put those scary thoughts in your head, and I guess I've kind of seen it too.
Yeah. So well.
And I'm just like, I'll just stay single forever.
Then it's like I think we have to counter that within our own selves. Like it's good that we're having these type of dialogues because KB, it's like you were mentioning how we can't then like perpetuate that expectation. Like then we have to be in the mindset of like. There's so many different types of, people. Like there's so many different types of men, and also on the other hand, it's kind of like the whole black on black crime thing. It's like, well, wait a minute, like it's not only like black people who commit crimes against me. So anyway,
a lot of people cheat.
Right. It's like tying that into cheating. It's like
black men
it's not
cheat
just
at
black
a
men
higher
cheating.
rate though, or is that just?
I think it's a fallacy.
What do
For
you
me
guys think?
personally, I think it's
okay. Look, the black men that they're talking about the athletes, the celebrities. Okay.
Yeah, the entertainers.
No, the guy that works at 7-Eleven cheats too. What do you mean?
Well,
but he's not in the limelight. He's not.
I will say this though, and this is something that I read on Twitter once, and they were like, when everybody was breaking up in the celebrity world, they're like, wow, everybody's breaking up, nobody's happily married. And they said that, marriages are a lot like airplanes. You only hear about the ones that crash and burn. You don't really hear about the ones that are successful.
Well, they get airtime. They make money.
It's
you
like
know?
it's like when we're going into this, they are talking about like the athletes who are actively cheating on their wives and getting caught and getting caught in the DMs and all of that.
Right,
We're not
absolutely.
talking about they're happily married. They've been married for 16 years.
But
And
here's
like,
the thing. I think we also have to, as a black community, I think we have to also hold ourselves accountable though for some of those.
It has to be the standard.
Yeah, for some of those perpetuated stereotypes because. You talking about we're gonna have a show called like Side Chicks of LA or Miami, I don't know, wherever it is, and I'm just like, who are the black folks who are gonna be on that show and who are gonna be actually like?
it's not actually just black people on that show.
Well, yeah,
but
one white girl, I think.
yeah,
but we're not
crazy.
talking. We're talking about our community, you know,
Yeah.
and so it's like same love and hip hop. It's like these horrible stereotypes are perpetuated, and there's actually black people who are like profiting off of those.
How are we
stereotypes.
perpetuating stereotypes though that are more untrue than they are true just because? Like, are we just because we're seeing it on TV? Does not mean that that's reflecting what's actually happening in black communities and black homes across the nation, across the world. So are we perpetuating these things just because that's what we're seeing and we're like, oh yeah, that's what we're seeing on TV, so that's what happens?
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Like, does TV portray what's real life, or
Because reality
absolutely
shows
not.
are not
They
real.
try to act
Yo,
like the
I'm
TV
gonna just
shows,
pop.
you know?
I'm gonna burst
Yeah.
your bubbles right now. Reality TV is not real. They're scripted.
Of course.
They're
Right.
costumed.
Of
They've
course.
got hair
But
and
some
makeup.
people
People
don't know
so
that.
like.
So they want to
Ratings,
be like
right.
them.
Well, they need to go back to school if they don't know. That.
Wait, but I do want to hear what you were gonna say. Sorry.
As far as
I guess the perpetuating of.
just you're absolutely right. It's fake. Like they literally construct these kind of things
Yeah.
for it's television. You know what I mean? So that's the condition. Like I said, you look at Adolf Hitler. You know, he constructed a media campaign to destroy the image of a Jewish person before the physical Holocaust, right? Right, and this stuff happens right now. You look at domestic violence, right? We sit back and we look at the, grab that black man who played in the NFL, grab that black man who played in the NBA, and they say, see, domestic violence, right?
Yeah.
So now we think that's what it is, but, I got my degree in criminal justice, and I was going to go to law school, but, 60% out of 800,000 domestic violence charges, they're always filed against cops. You get what I'm saying? But somehow they got us up here as if we're the problem. You know what I mean? So, but we don't run the media, we don't own this stuff, so we got to figure something out in order for us to own something, so we can actually put it out the right way.
And
We talked about that
speaking
last
of that, it's like Oprah, right, on OWN, there's going to be a show called Black Love.
Yeah, which
right?
is more
That's awesome.
perpetuating.
Really?
Yeah, and
You need to go
it's a
watch
black
the
couple.
YouTube.
Guys, go to the OWN
I gotta
YouTube
check
channel.
this.
There's a trailer, an extended trailer, and it's got it has celebrities and like actors and actresses in it. I think Viola Davis and her husband are on there, Tia Mowry and Corey Hardrick.
The
Megan Good and Yvonne Franklin, who are my favorite.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, and it's filmed by a black couple, and they're interviewing married people.
That'd
some
be
who have
so
been married
nice
for
to
70
awesome.
years.
Right? And it's like you're seeing positive relationships that have like they're lasting, there's not like and every relationship has their problem, but it's the fact that they're showcasing and they're portraying like a healthy, positive like relationship with black people, specifically black people, because we don't see that enough on television.
Yeah.
It's almost like for every like negative black relationship, it's like we have like the positive white one, you know what I'm saying? And and I know like a lot of folks they want to say, oh, it's not a black and white issue, but as far as like media goes, it is. So I guess I kind of do want to switch gears though. Y'all okay if we switch gears? So you're married now. You've been married for how long?
A month.
Snaps.
Made it a month.
Yeah, a month.
So is there anything that has surprised you? Is there anything that like maybe you weren't expecting about marriage, or that you felt like I don't know, that you weren't prepared for?
Well, me personally, I don't entertain titles as much because I think that will psych you out.
What do you mean?
He was just the talker. People just talk. He said he doesn't like titles.
Titles. Okay, so like boyfriend, girlfriend.
No. Like far as like what I'm alluding to is common sense, right? So far as like for example, I have some friends who their dad is a judge, right? Just because that title, he's a judge, so therefore
okay,
I have to be perfect.
Oh,
And then what happens?
Okay.
Usually these kids, like, you know, like their fathers were in law enforcement or whatever, they end up, they're wild.
They're wild.
Right? Because they're entertaining
That sense
that
of like,
title.
well, you come from the father of a judge, so
it's
you
gotta be-
So
you
it's
gotta
that
be this certain
expectation. So
way.
what you're saying is
Yeah,
that
titles come with
when you went into marriage, you didn't have that expectation of, okay, marriage, and this is what it's gonna be. So that
so
things
like,
didn't,
yeah,
like,
so it was my common sense. I was like, look, I love this woman, you know, like I love her the first day I met her, and that's how I'm gonna be forever. Like there's nothing's gonna change. Like far as like,
love someone the first day you meet them.
no, I'm talking about just that love at first sight. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Like, I mean, because like for a man, like it's literally like you don't, because I used to ask a lot of, you know, my colleagues and, you know, other people, like, I'm like, how do you know she's the one? It's like, I don't know, she's the one. And I'm a very logical person. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Like you know,
Like you got to, he's like, you just know. And then when I saw my wife, you know, when I saw that hair going against gravity, I'm like, okay, this is what I need, right? And, but like, but yeah, no, it's just that like I use my common sense, you know. I don't entertain like as far as like well, you know, I'm a black man, so I gotta be pro-black. No, I don't entertain that. I just use my common sense and go on, you know, with my daily life.
Okay, you feel it out, and you do what's true to you.
Yeah.
to pick up on that. So do you think like you knowing that because like for girls, I think it's different when you meet a guy and it grows, I think maybe much slower than it does for a guy.
Right.
But
Was
do
she
you
that?
think it was like you
On
feel
point. Oh yeah. So like I said, for men, like, you know, it's,
is it that like instant soul connection where you're like, that's
it was just like, you know, like I was dating, you know, all kind of women, right? Like, you know, and she knows it, like, you know, she's like, oh, that girl is pretty, this girl is pretty, but I don't know what it was, but it was like, you know, I was there for a specific reason, and I'm like, wow, I found my wife, like literally.
so interesting.
And yeah, it worked out perfect.
So do you find
Say that
I have to ask this.
Someone
because
probably has
we
already
have-
said that to you, Bree.
No, they have not.
I want to know. Okay, so I've had a lot of like dating conversations with guys. You know, you always like trying to figure out the difference between guys and girls when it comes to dating, and I feel like a lot of guys are always like, well, it's the physical first. Like, it's the physical. Like, that's the first thing. And we girls over here be like, no, but it's like their personality and the emotions. And like,
Right.
so how did that, okay, because you said when you laid eyes on your wife, you saw that hair was splitting against gravity.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm being dramatic. I'm just imagining this.
Yeah.
So,
she's like painting this movie scene.
I know, I can see like the wind.
She
and,
came
like,
in
That's what it
and
felt
the
like.
wind.
That's what I'm serious. I was like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I don't know how cliche this sounds, but literally, like, everybody wasn't in the room.
Everyone
it was just me
disappeared.
and her, like,
Oh my
straight
gosh.
up. And then
Where were you at? You weren't
I was
like
in
McDonald's
Provo.
or anything, right?
I was in Provo. Like, I had no desire even going down there. I had no desire. And, you know, I was snowed in. I was trapped up. I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this little salsa party, whatever, make this quick. But, yeah. But, like, it was just something. It was her aura. It was something.
Her energy.
It was like I was like, okay.
Clicked.
Yeah, but however, like, you're right, with women, it take you guys forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it took me, like, you know, like a man, like the human mind, like it trips me out, like the human mind inability to process perfection. You know what I mean? The human mind only function through trials and tribulations, right? Like, have you guys ever had like a guy friend? He had a beautiful girl and she was perfect, so on and so forth, wife credentials out the roof, but he actually cheats on her. Why is that? Because he got it because when you get something so simple and so easy, it's boring.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the human mind.
We just gotta make it hard on ourselves. But why?
No, and I feel like you need to build a strong foundation. Like how you look is not gonna last, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't have that
Boobs are
connection,
gonna be sagging.
yeah, if you don't have that
Other things are
connection
gonna
where
be
you're best
sagging.
friends, where you can talk, you know,
Absolutely.
where you have this, where you can laugh about the same jokes,
Absolutely.
enjoy the same shows or hobbies, whatever. It's not
Yeah.
gonna last, you know. And I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to build that before moving, you know.
Yeah.
You said okay, so you like mentioned her aura, like it was like this, almost like I don't know, she's got the glow. I don't know.
That's what it was.
But I'm imagining like there was this thing like I mean when we talk about energy, like right, there's something like actually like tangible. You may not see it, but you can like feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering how do we feel, and this is just open to everybody, y'all can grab on this, but how do we feel that is affected with like technology and dating today? Because I feel like a lot of people do, you know, dating apps such as like Tinder or OkCupid or like all these different
Instagram,
you know, or on
Right.
Instagram or things like
Right.
that. So I'm like, how do you navigate
I've
dating?
seen a lot of couples actually meet on Instagram and do the long distance and actually work out. So I think that it can happen. I think you have to be open to it. I think it's a right place, right time situation. Again, God works in mysterious ways.
Right.
I think that you can't discount the serendipity of that moment. You know, the fact that like you're supposed to be there.
the moment of when
with
you swipe
that,
right?
or not necessarily, but that's just the catalyst.
The moment when it's like,
Let me be romantic, please. That's the catalyst to get you to that point, right? But sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
It's not any different than like dating in real life. Maybe you need to
Right.
make sure that you are having a real life connection with somebody. Like you need to see their face. You need to talk to them. You need to feel their energy and know who they are. But I think that I think that the issue would be more of like talking culture and the fact that like these apps and stuff make it easier to just be talking to somebody and not necessarily be like, okay, I want to go forward and be in a, because you can talk for just a little bit, but then it needs to like progress. You can't be talking for
Exactly.
16 years.
Exactly.
What you doing? What would you say?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think our women need to know like how powerful they are. You know what I mean? Like, like you guys have no idea how powerful you guys are. Like, for
Listening.
example, like, okay, if you go to the club, right? You go to a club, how come women get in for free? Men don't, right? Or, you know, if you want to date a woman, you gotta ask her. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know what I mean? So you going towards her because you have to fight for this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally, like I was alluding to with my wife, obviously other things definitely played its part. Like, I was like, okay, this girl, she's conservative. She's not the Instagram type girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, half naked and stuff like that. Because what I really wanted a Renaissance woman. You know what I'm saying?
Someone who, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think that's very important because looks could only go so far.
What is that though? Let's just make that clear. What's a Renaissance woman?
A woman who could do it all. You know what I mean? Like, she could play the piano. She could speak another language. She's in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She does philanthropy work. She does, like, she's very well-rounded.
someone with substance.
You know what I'm saying?
Deep.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to our ancestors back in Kemet on set. That's what her role was. You know what I mean? And but I think a lot of our people need to look into that though.
I feel like women in general in today's society don't value, like, we're the ones that birth kids to keep the world going. Like, we have so much power, like, but we undervalue ourselves so much. We let the man be, like, you know?
Because that's what I mean. Like, although like I am a Christian, you know what I mean? Let's make that clear. But, you know, it doesn't teach duality in a way. Because if you look at it, they said God is over Jesus, Jesus is over men, men is over women, right? And, you know, my household, you know, someone asked me like, oh, so you're the man of the household? I'm like, no, I share it in responsibility with my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are catered to men's ego. And that's something like, you know, that needs to be
I
recognized.
like the old-fashioned type.
powerful.
I like the old-fashioned relationships because my parents, I think they were in their 60s when I came to the U.S. So that's the type of relationship I watched. Like, very old, you know.
Yeah.
They knew their traditional roles and it was very loving, respectful.
Right.
And I feel like it's really hard to find that now, you know.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think you have
struggle.
to, again, with your expectations, I think you have to set expectations in dating, in talking, because, again, like, I think talking is a good jumping off point. Like, you have to talk to somebody to know. It
But
just
don't
cannot-
stay in the lane of talking for so long that you can't, like,
It can't be your entire
you
relationship.
can't get past just talking.
Talking is code word for it.
You know?
We're in a relationship without a title. We're gonna get the guy's gonna
Right.
get everything he would in a relationship.
hold on.
Without doing anything for
I
the girl.
think-
No taking
Wait.
on dates. No, like, you know.
Look, I think that you should.
money?
They
like, we
want to go
talking.
into their room and watch Netflix
Wait,
with
wait,
them.
wait.
It's like, no.
KB, what are you going to say?
You know, I was just jumping into that real quick. I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? But I think that our sisters should, or just women in general should have an IQ test. You know what I mean? Right. I know some people are like, oh man, that's kind of offensive. No, not like that. But like, okay, for example, like with my wife now, that's the one I have to talk about, right? Because, forget it. I talked about other, like I dated other girls in the past too,
Yeah.
Right.
And if I pull up a picture and I'll show you Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Brother Malcolm. I mean, Malcolm X. If you don't know who at least 3 of these 4 men are, we're gonna have, that's something that I can't connect with.
Swipe
right?
left.
Right? But if you know who Kim Kardashian, you know what I mean? If you know who this person is, Kim
it's
Kardashian,
based off your values and
off
like.
your values. And so the thing is that we revere, like our women, we revere at the wrong thing. We revere the athletes, the
Black China, Amber Rose,
The Instagram model.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, even our men,
when
right?
Black women have Marilyn Monroe on their shirts, I'm like, what does she represent for you?
What does she do for you?
Exactly. I'm just like, cute shirt.
So my question then is,
Shady.
kind of talking about this idea of talking, are we then, as millennials, right? Because I feel like it's a different generation, especially when it comes to dating, and this concept of talking is a thing. The concept of social media having a really big influence in like who you meet, who you date is a big thing. So are we like intentionally talking to keep us from like committed relationships? Is there like an issue with millennials and having commitment?
Yeah.
What do you guys
There's
think?
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, always access to the next person. They don't want to just commit to one person. I think it takes a special type of guy to commit to one girl, and actually stay loyal.
I think it's the perception that there's always something better out there, and wanting to.
FOMO.
Yeah, it's literally the fear of missing out. At least in
FOMO.
and from what I've observed, I think it's a fear of missing out that like. Even though this person could be perfect for you, they could be everything you want, you're able to, grow together. I mean, obviously be complete enough people that you can, you match in that way, but then grow together and learn together and whatever. But you're always looking out for the next best thing. And that can, I think, be detrimental in terms of like, do we want relationships?
My question kind of for everyone, and maybe we'll start it with you, KB, is how, like, do you believe in this idea of a soulmate or the one? You said like when you saw your wife, you're like, man, like her aura, like her energy, like you just have this feeling.
He knew.
Like I know. So how did you get there? Because I feel like that's like the antidote for this whole mess of like FOMO and this fear of commitment. So how did you get there? And do you believe in this idea of a soulmate?
I do, 100%. Like I mean, like I said, obviously our generation, they're more into a polyamory relationship. You know what I mean? It's being with multiple girls with no strings attached. You know what I mean? But like, as far as finding a soulmate, like you just know, like I felt literally complete when she literally like. When she was in my circumference, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. This is crazy. And like I said, like I alluded to earlier, like I fought for her and I did,
You worked.
I worked for her, yeah. But like that's how in a way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? A man is supposed to divide and conquer, right? He's supposed to go for it, right? Like I said, I was alluding to a couple of my friends who had this girl and she was the sweetest woman in the world, but they end up cheating on her with somebody that doesn't even look as good as her or don't have her like her characteristics and so on and so forth. But this other girl was a challenge. You know what I mean? And it's sad that it works that way. But
I need to start being mean to every man.
you see, you'd be surprised how consistent they are. They'll be consistent.
When you're mean to them.
Like not just mean, but like, doing.
When you are harder to,
or maybe holding them to a standard, like hold it like.
Yeah.
There's
like,
allowed to be a lot of messages left on.
Like I don't want to be the one like I need to sign some kind of disclaimer or something, but my man they probably gonna get me, but but no,
spilling
but
all the secrets.
But the thing is like I don't want to go to Steve Harvey with his 90-day rule or anything like that, but it's a real thing. You'd be surprised what a man will do if you literally like stand your ground.
Okay, so what about you guys? What do you think? Soulmate?
Definitely.
The one?
I believe in the one.
No, because I thought Trey Songz was my soulmate, but it turned out not to be true. So I don't know.
He might still be your soulmate. You ain't know.
No.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, and he
What
treated
about
me like I was
Kofi?
basic.
I thought
Oh,
Kofi's
I
your
like
soulmate.
Kofi now.
Kofi.
How about you? Do you
Kofi.
believe in soulmates?
Yeah.
I hear that
guess-
question mark at the end.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like in society it's almost like we're told not to believe. I don't know. It's like there's like mixed messages. It's like, yes, believe in a soulmate, but at the same time, like, don't leave it too open because, you know,
You might miss.
you can have multiple. So, but I guess I do. I guess I do believe in a soulmate because I do believe in the fact. Isn't that a soulmate? The fact that like you are in a space with another individual and you collide and
You're so like romantic and talking about stars colliding.
It's like being with that,
That's a
like
soulmate.
KB said, when his wife was in his vicinity, he felt complete, and that is a soulmate.
That's my sister then.
Well, you can have soulmates that are not necessarily like
Oh,
romantic.
mine's not
like
a man.
twin flame. No, that's a whole nother
That's a whole
show.
nother show. We're not gonna
Anyways,
get into that.
we need to
Yeah.
Okay.
wrap it up.
In our best Quavo voice.
Okay, well, panelists, thank you so much for joining us on
Thank you.
this episode of
The
The panel.
The Panel.
We
Let us know what
enjoyed
you-
having KB here. Thank you for
Yes,
coming.
He's
Appreciate it.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
Appreciate
We appreciate you. Follow him, okay, on Instagram. Support his cause, his business, the mentoring
Support
that he's
Black-owned
providing for
businesses.
the Black community, okay? And I guess that's about
Yeah,
it.
leave your favorite parts below. Leave us comments, comment, and
And y'all have
subscribe.
not been subscribing.
So we
Breeze
don't
upset.
hold you
I'm just-
to
That
subscribe.
standard.
And also, leave us a word. What do you think about this topic, you know?
Or any subjects you'd like us to talk about?
Absolutely. If you have any future topics you'd like us to go on about, we will. So drop us a comment, all right?
We'll see you next
Okay. See you next week. Thanks, guys.
With you,